What's up, self-healers? Lisa Lightfeather here. Welcome to my channel, Closing the Gap, where we make a conscious effort to meet you where you're at on your spiritual journey. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Today, I would like to speak on, which I think is an appropriate topic, being that it's a Mother's Day weekend, is how to nurture your inner child. This isn't only for the mothers, it's for the fathers, men, women, young adults, old adults, all alike, yes? So today the topic is nurturing the inner child. What is the inner child? The inner child is parts of ourselves, parts of our authentic selves that we have locked away inside of a closet. We've locked away somewhere within our subconscious, within our hearts. We've locked this part of ourselves away. This is akin to being fragmented, yes? It's also akin to shadow work. But the inner child is basically the foundation of shadow work. So in nurturing the inner child, we also heal our shadows. So one might say, what's the difference between shadow and inner child? Well, the shadow is birthed through the inner child, yes? And so in healing the inner child, we ultimately heal the shadow. So the inner child is created through pain, through a process of trauma, yes? And so today, I want to assist you in learning how to take your pain and turn it into your passion. So one of the ways that the inner child is developed, or I'm going to give you some of the ways that the inner child is developed, and we're going to walk through the pain together, yes? So a primary way of the inner child being created is through rejection. So a parent may have rejected the child, yes? Like the father may say, that's not my child, I don't want that child. Or the mother might say, upon conception, she may say, I never wanted to be pregnant. She may have considered aborting the child, or she was miserable through her pregnancy, or she got pregnant for the wrong reasons. She never really wanted the child. She wanted the man that was attached to the child. And so in being pregnant with the child, she energetically rejects it because the plan didn't work. The child did not keep the man per se. And so she rejects the child. So even within the womb, a child can be rejected. And the child feels that. And so it's birthed into this earthly plane with the feeling of rejection. The mother may suffer from postpartum depression, or else she may not be lactating, and so she can't nurture the child at her bosom. Or she's suffering from postpartum depression. She wanted the child. She carried the child to full term, and she was excited about having conceived the child. But the second the child is born, the hormones, 48 hours after the child is born, the hormones of a woman crash. And sometimes they call it postpartum blues, baby blues, but sometimes the woman goes so deep that she disconnects from the child. And she unintentionally rejects the child. It's something that's beyond her control, but it happens. And so the child is birthed into this realm with the feeling of rejection. The child may not remember, but the soul remembers, yes? Another way is shaming a child. When parents say, shame on you, you should have never done that. You should be ashamed of yourself. When the child has just made a simple mistake, but the parent responds to that mistake as shaming the child, or saying that the child should be ashamed of themselves when a child gets to a certain age and they start to develop hormones and things of that sort, and the parent may catch the child touching themselves in what the parent deems as an inappropriate way, and they shame the child. So the child then grows up with like some type of sexual dysfunction, or they don't really accept themselves in that area, or they are too involved in that area, and so they develop sexual addictions of some sort. Yes, pornographic material, womanizing, or having multiple men with multiple sex partners and not being able to control that part of their lives. This can be a part of inner child damage, where somewhere along the way they were shamed, made to feel bad about sexual encounters, even if it's with oneself. Another one is guilting the child. You know, a parent might say, or someone, adult figure might say, if I didn't have to buy you shoes every 2 months, I could pay the light bill. Or if it wasn't for all of you children, if they have 5 or 6 children, if it wasn't for you, I could keep a man. It's because of you that I can't keep a relationship. Or the father might say, it's because of you that I can't keep any money in my pocket. If I didn't have you, then I would be able to sustain myself financially. And so they guilt the child, make the child feel guilty for basic needs, food, shelter, clothing. Another one might be blaming the child. That goes along with guilting. You know, like if it wasn't for you, I could stay in a relationship, or if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be sick. You stress me out, and so this is the reason that I have this or that illness. You stress me out, so this is the reason I have to drink alcohol or take these drugs. And so they guilt the child and they blame the child for their own dysfunctions. Enmeshment is another one. Enmeshment is when you don't allow the child to develop into its own individuality. And so anything the child tries to do, you try to take over it. You know, you can't do that. You need to go this way, because you have your own ideals of what you want your child to be when they grow up. And so you try to live through the child and not giving the child its own identity or its own goals. And so you belittle anything that the child is doing, and you try to one up it with your ideal of what the child should be. And so the child never quite develops their own individuality. The next one is conditional love. It's when you love the child, but only on conditions. I will reward you, I will show you love or affection in some type of way if you mow the grass for the entire summer. Or I only treat you good if you keep your room clean. Or I only treat you well if you come home and your clothes are still in condition, you know, not dirty or don't have food or dirt on them or anything. And so we love the child with conditions. And so now the child feels like that they have to perform, yes, in order to receive any type of love. Unconsciously, the child knows that I cannot survive without this adult figure. And so they conform to whatever the adult wants. Yes? Invalidating is another way that an inner child may be abused or damaged, is by invalidating the child. The child is very intelligent. The child makes straight A's, or the child is an exceptionally well athlete. Yeah? And so they, in their athletics, they're always the one that's winning the game, or they're always the one that's winning the track race. And the parent may invalidate the child. Well, you've done better. Or, well, you always make A's, so what's the big deal? I'm not going to make it to the award ceremony. How many award ceremonies do you want me to attend? You always make straight A's. So they invalidate and make the child seem smaller than what they are. They invalidate their accomplishments. So another one will be like teasing or criticizing the child. So a parent might say, you're getting a little chunky there, ain't you? Or my goodness, your hair is coarse. You got some nappy hair, or your hair is always greasy, or you always, something criticizing the child. You have your daddy's smile, and your daddy had an ugly smile. Comparing the children, and criticizing them in a way, might one up a child and say, this child is beautiful, this child is going to grow up to be gorgeous, and this child, well, if you're lucky, you'll make someone a good wife one day. So they compare the children and pit the children against one another. And so this is damaging and abusing the inner child. Another one is betraying the child. Yeah, a father might say, yeah, I'll be there for your birthday. I'll be there for Christmas. I'll be there for whatever holiday is going on. I'll be there for Father's Day or Mother's Day. And the child anxiously awaits for his arrival, and he never shows up. And one might do this over and over and over and over again. So the child learns that they can't trust people to keep their word. Yes? Another one is neglect. So in neglecting a child, they could be neglected through food. They could be neglected through not having a home, not having clean clothes, not doing the basic things like taking a bath, brushing their teeth, or having clean clothes to wear. No one there to support them, to take them back and forth to school, or to support their goals or their track meets, or whatever it is the child may be trying to accomplish. There's no adult figure there to assist them with that. And so all of these things can affect the inner child. And this inner child is somewhere within us, wounded. And I like to use the analogy that we all have a closet inside of us. And in that closet is where we stuff all the things that we don't like about ourselves, whether we consciously know it or it's an unconscious thing. We have a closet where we stuff everything. That inner child is in there, and it's huddled up in the corner with all that neglect, that abuse, that blaming, that guilting, that shaming, the conditional love. They're in there with all of those wounds. And here we are in our adults' bodies, living our life on a daily basis, and we still haven't opened that closet. And so we learn to relate to others based off of what we endured in our childhood. So even if you were the perfect child, you had the perfect parents, and everyone was taking care of you and loathed over you and adored you, there is a part of as an adult that you're not going to receive that. And so one might react with a temper tantrum, or I'll dare them look at someone else and I'm sitting here, or they may just be overly grandiose about themselves. There's also a part of the inner child where one may have had everything that they need, but they never had love. And so there's a part of that child that has just simply never been loved. They've never been hugged, they've never been kissed, they've never been touched. So as an adult, they may be in relationships and not know how to show reciprocity when it comes to affection or touch or love. And so we walk through our adult lives with this wounded inner child. So this is why it's important to heal the inner child. So today I would like to give you some pointers on how to heal the inner child. Because as an adult with a wounded inner child, we may suffer from things such as envy or being a perfectionist, overly conforming, meshing into our partner and being exactly what they need us to be in order for us to be accepted. Because remember, we had conditional love, and so we based love in our adulthood with conditions. If I perform, if I'm really good, if I do what he or she needs me to do, then they will love me. And so you see how in adulthood this can affect your relationships. As a parent in adulthood, you may be a helicopter mom or a helicopter dad, where you're hovering over your children all the time. You don't give them any independence or allow them to grow within their own being because you want to protect them, because you don't want any of those things to happen to them that happened to you as a child. So you hover over them, and in turn, you damage them, but you damage them in a different way. Yes? Another one is, as an adult, you may be very controlling or withdrawing. So as a child, you may have seen your parents in the domestic violence incidents or domestic violence fights, and you went in your room and you got in the corner, you put the covers over your head, and you closed your eyes and prayed that it would go away. And so you ran away from the confrontation. Well, as an adult, you may have a disagreement with someone, and instead of setting boundaries and standing firm on your word, in an emotionally intelligent way, you run out the door, you slam the door, you leave, and you drive away, and you don't come back because you don't know how to handle confrontation, and so you use it as a control mechanism, and you withdraw. Another thing is, if you didn't have clothes as a children or food as a child, you may overcompensate for that today. You may go out and buy a whole lot of clothes. You have clothes in your closets for days with tags still on that you haven't worn, shoes that you haven't worn. You're unconsciously overcompensating. Yes, you may like fashion, you may like clothes, but ask yourself, why haven't you wore the fashion in the clothes that you have in the closet yet? And you're continuously buying more. It's an unconscious overcompensation. I didn't have this as a child. Or food, you may hoard food. You can't even get in the freezer. It's just stacked with food. And so you can't even look in the cabinets because you have to move everything to find what you're looking for. You're unconsciously hoarding food because when you were a child, you were hungry. Or you had one of those parents that were like, you need to clean your plate. You need to eat everything on your plate, everything. And you're like, I'm full. But no, the parent doesn't want to hear that. We don't waste food in this house. So they force you to eat this adult-sized plate. So now as an adult, you either overeat or you don't want to eat at all. You don't like food. You don't enjoy food. So you develop bulimia and anorexia, or else you just live on rice cakes and water because you're so afraid of overeating and being a glutton. So these are some of the things that can affect our inner child. So you see how important the inner child is. So I want you to spend some time with yourself and find out of the things that I just mentioned. What are some of those things or some of your own things that you are doing as an adult today that may be a result of your inner child being abused or neglected? Maybe the fragmented parts of you that's in that closet. And when you find those things out, I want you to get a picture of yourself when you were a child. Yes? Or a picture that kind of looks like you. If you don't have a picture of yourself, then a picture that kind of looks like you that you can identify with. And I want you to put it somewhere where you can see it every day. On your screensaver, at the mirror where you brush your teeth at every day, or, on your closet door where you get your clothing out, on your dashboard of your car. I want you to be able to see yourself as an inner child. Yes? And I want you to start healing that inner child and speaking to it as if that child was standing in front of you, how you would speak to a child that you love and care for, how you speak to your own children, how you wish someone had spoke to you when you were that child that's in that picture. Because now it's your responsibility to parent that child. No one can do it but you. So on this Mother's Day weekend, I would like you to gather that child, pull it in close to you, and love it like you wished your mother had loved you or you wished your father had loved you. I want you to look at that picture and tell it that I am in the process of creating a safe space for you. It's okay for you to come out of the closet. If you were neglected and didn't have clothes or hygiene and stuff like that, I want you to open that door and see that inner child sitting there, cuddled up in that corner, afraid, with their eyes closed. And I want you to invite them out. I want you to give them your hand, invite them out. And you do this with your mind's eye. It's almost a meditation. And all of their filth and dirty and shame and guilt and whatever it is they're carrying with them, their envy, their jealousy, I want you to tell that inner child, I love you. You're worthy. I know I haven't been here for a while, but I'm here now. I see you. And I want you to know that you're loved. I want you to know that I am creating a safe space for you because I am healing myself. And in healing myself, I'm healing you. I want you to, in your mind's eye, whatever they needed, I want you to give it to them. I want you to take her and comb her hair or give him a haircut and wash them up. Clean them up. In your mind's eye, make them clothes or buy them clothes and give them clean underwear and a clean dress and pretty comfortable shoes. or give them a nice suit or whatever it is that you wanted as an inner child. Give them that microphone that they wanted when they thought they were going to be a singer when they grew up. Or give them that art. Yeah? Go out and buy that microphone, like literally. Go out and buy that pad and those pencils and those colors and color. And draw, or buy a coloring book. Whatever it was that she or he was told they couldn't do, I want you to go out and get that for them. And use it as a meditative practice. Paint, sing, color, bake, cook. Whatever it was that they wanted to do when they were little and they were told they couldn't. I want you to do that for them. And you don't have to do it every day, but you want to tell your inner child every day. You want to look at that picture every day, and you want to tell that inner child, I love you. I'm here for you. And I am building a safe space for you. I am creating a safe space for you through healing myself. Yes? Go out and buy that Barbie doll or that fire truck or those shoes that he or she wanted that they couldn't get. I want you to heal yourself, telling yourself that it's okay to love, it's okay to be touched, it's safe touch. If your inner child was touched in an inappropriate way, reassure that when you hug them in your mind's eye, that this is safe touch, that you're safe here. It's important to your livelihood. It's important to your adulthood. It's important to the way that we relate to others as an adult. And in healing your inner child, you inadvertently heal your shadows. It's just more a gentle way of loving yourself and healing yourself. So on this Mother's Day, whether you're a man or a woman, I want you to nurture your inner child like you want it to be nurtured. Yeah? Start loving on that inner part of yourself. And then allow him or her to grow. You don't want them to stay babies. You don't want them to stay toddlers. As you grow, you want them to grow. Yeah? So you may start out coloring in a coloring book. And then as a teenager, you may start out painting. And then as an adult, you may take them, hey, you know what? I'm going to the art show today, And so you want to stay in tune with your inner child as an adult in order to watch yourself in your motives. What are you doing? Are you over shopping? Are you overeating? Are you over spending? Whatever it is, it's inner child stuff. Yeah, so nurture your inner child on this weekend. Love yourselves. Don't forget to look at that picture and tell yourself on a daily basis how much you love her or him. I hope that you enjoy your Mother's Day weekend, and I hope that you spend time with your mothers. Forgive yourselves, forgive your mothers, forgive your fathers for the gap that they left. You as an adult, it's now time that you close the gap. Thank you for tuning into my channel, Closing the Gap. We make a conscious effort to meet you where you're at on your healing journey. Y'all have a happy Mother's Day. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you next time.